you. So, welcome to another Friday night live Q&A where we're here to discuss freshwater aquarium keeping, and we never know what we're going to talk about. That's a great thing about these, and a great source to learn, because the only way we really learn is by asking questions. But I'm glad it's Friday. Hope you guys are all doing good. Good to see you guys in the chat. Hello, hello. Been out of the aquarium the past 8 months. Master water changes. You are. Water changes are good. Aquarium hoarder. Somebody took my name. Get back to it. It's a great hobby. I rarely do water changes. Just top off an evaporation and scrape my algae off the front of the glass. Yep, you can do that, but it does help to do some water changes, especially if you're trying to grow your fish out. You know, my name used to be a LRB Aquarium Hoarder for the longest time. Funny to see that there's an aquarium hoarder out there. But hello, hello, hello. So, did restock the website. So, LRB Aquatics does have some items that haven't been in stock for a while back in stock. So, if there's some things you guys been kind of waiting for, go check it out. Definitely would be helpful for me and my family right now, because it's the end of the month and the bills are coming. Hello, hello. Let's see you guys. Then as far as this week, it's been mostly just changing water, finally getting these water changes flowing and going, and been working on breaking down friend's fish room, which always sucks to see that kind of stuff happen. Granted, I make out with some tanks, but the work that's involved, it's more of a favor for them. And so, besides that, like, not really a whole lot happening. Besides, like, the normal stuff. Although, my Tetracolor granules, for some reason, now that I've got so many fish and so many tanks, it seems like it's been harder. So it's really hard to mush up on my finger. I've actually been having to tape my finger now to keep it just getting torn up. Those granules have been tearing me up for some reason. Like, some people would recommend like a salt or pepper shaker to help break that stuff up. But the problem is I need different types of granules for different types of tanks. So sometimes I need the bigger granules. I can't have like, well, maybe I could like go back and forth between the shaker and just the jug, but or the container. I don't know. It'd be kind of a pain. I don't want to really do that. What to do? What to do? Oh, hello. Well, glad you came back. No EG, yes. And yeah, I'm hoping to get some videos out for you guys here soon. I know it's been kind of a while. Thank God we always got the live stream here, but we'll get back in the routine here soon. With my birthday and Father's Day last week, kind of took up a bit of my time in a good way. Yeah, get an adjustable peppercorn grinder and hook it to a power drill. There you go. That'll be funny. Put them all on timers. Make one container small and one medium granules. Yeah, I tried to do that a little bit. But I mean, it's hard to carry 2 containers because I have to lug them around everywhere I go. And then I need one to hold the container and then to feed the fish. So if I'm holding 2 containers, at least the peppercorn shaker would at least fit in my pocket. So I don't know. I don't know what I'm going to do about that. Besides just keeping my finger taped up or using a thimble. I try to just use like a plastic piece of PVC, but if you can't feel it, it didn't really crush it up very well. I got to be able to feel it to really know what I'm putting into the tank, especially for like those. Yeah, get a tool belt. That'd be funny. Um, I especially for the babies, I gotta like get it to a fine enough dust that they can eat it. House of Pisces says I did an experiment with and without granule dust. Dust creates more algae and benefits small beasties. Yes, it can create more algae and also feeds the little ones. It's a trade-off. The little ones have to eat. It is good for the microbiology as well. I was just kind of running here trying to get on this thing, trying to find a hat. That's why I was about 30 seconds late. Been a long day. Been getting all my top offs off. The evaporation outside has just been crazy. I've literally been having to top off my tubs like every 2 weeks, and it takes a bit of work and time just waiting for those to top off. Try to do things in between. Barbed wire, as is black sand the best color for red shrimp? Yes, yes, definitely. Black is good for the red, the yellow, the orange, the snowball. Mostly it. Aquarium Fantasy, good to see you. Says Lucas, how's the outside project coming along? It's not really a whole lot moving out there on it right now, just because of all the other stuff I got to do. Honestly, I've been a bit overwhelmed with all my to dos, but I'm keeping on my to dos just because. But yeah, we'll get back to it. It's actually been super hot. It's going to be super hot this week coming up as well. So I don't know. I probably won't do much for it next week either. This tearing down of my friend's fish room is actually like 2 hours away from me. So that's 2 hours there, 2 hours back. And it has just been kind of a pain to deal with. It's been taking up a lot of my time. But you gotta help people out when they need it, you know? That's the best we can really do for people is try to help them. And that's why we're here. All right, so if you guys got questions, I'm at the bottom of the chat. But yeah, I can't wait to get back to that project. It still needs done. Christian B says, "Hey Lucas, I have a 55 that has been going for years. I turned off the HOB filter a few months back. Want to stop using the sponges now? Should I turn the pump off or completely remove the sponges?" So, I always say you can just remove them, but I've also heard other people have issues with removing them. I don't know how much is involved in that because I personally never had an issue with it, and I have many tanks with lots of fish in them. So, what I would say is take the sponges. Well, here's another thing, too. Maybe it is the beneficial bacteria because when you do take those sponges out, they hold a lot of that microbiology and the beneficial bacteria. And maybe sometimes when they take them out, they'll do a water change and then maybe they'll over clean the tank and maybe some issues may arise from that. So if you do take out the sponge filter, make sure that you don't really clean the tank out too much. Then just kind of watch them and keep them ready just in case like you see fish gasping at the top or something like that. But it shouldn't happen. Johnny Bass, holy cow, thank you so much for the $20 super chat, dude. You've been a massive, massive, huge support lately. Thank you, thank you. And for gifting memberships. Nice, dude. Nice. Thank you, thank you. OP. I like that. OP hippo. Overpowered. All right. So yeah, with the just turn the pump off or completely remove the sponge. Honestly, I guess you would be better off just turning the pump off. Just make sure that the water can't drip back down like into a check valve, because when you do turn that pump off, if the water can go up and over, then you could cause a leak somewhere, and you don't want that to happen. So it is. So it really depends on, is the pump higher up than the sponges? So if you put the pump in a higher enough spot, then you can leave the sponges in. They'll still hold that beneficial bacteria, and you'll probably have better success actually doing it that way. Excuse me. Do 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 at the bottom of the chat. Got a question? That's where I'm at. Not I'll just do. Mm-hmm. All right, Isaiah, congrats on reaching 100 subs. That's awesome. Moving on up. And summer solstice, you're right. Coming up. So, yeah. Happy Friday. Man, it's been a warm summer down here in Florida this year. Been like 90s every day. Did get some rain though, but that just means that I've got to mow the yard, which I do not look forward to because I've just got too much yard, sort of. Aquarium Fantasy says, Lucas, how are the axolotls? So I've actually got 7 axolotls now. So they're all doing pretty good. I got to get them in their new home. Their new home still got half water in it, like that latest rack I put up. I mean, I've got some fish breeding in there, like the glow light Daniels. I've got killifish that are split up. They need to be paired up. And then I need to get the 7 axolotls all together in the 125. So here soon. Yeah, I don't know. I went from 3 to 7 pretty quick. I think they just started collecting. Rosie says, hi, Lucas. Is it true different species of pencilfish do well together along with other community fish? Yeah, definitely. They're great community fish. Lucas, do you run any of your tubs bare bottom? So actually, I need to start doing that for like focus breeding. Because as much as I love putting the plants in them, creating an ecosystem, and playing musical fish with them, and trying to get eggs and babies that way, it's not always the most practical because fish are really good at hiding and kind of a pain. So if they were sort of more bare bottom, I don't know if I would do straight bare bottom. I would probably just at least put some sand in there. But I mean, you could. But I do need to kind of clean some of mine out. Any new fish breeding projects you working on? So, I mean, I've got a lot of genetic stuff I'm doing between rice fish, guppies, and endlers. And goldfish was kind of my last one. I had angelfish laying some eggs. I may mess with those a little bit. I got the Chopras I've been messing with, the Daniels. A lot of them's genetic ones. I need to move my rainbow fish around too for like my synergos and my Glossolepis maculosus and my Wanamensis, all my rare rainbows. There's a lot of fish I need to move around to get breeding. But then that all comes down to like organization too, because although I'm breeding these, I've got to have space for them down the road. That's a bit to organize. But it's always a project, which always gives me something to do, so I'm never bored. We do got a bat program at our club too. Like, I should probably run with it, but I don't know if I will. Probably won't. There's a lot of axolotls. Yeah, what's a group of axolotls called? That's a good question. Johnny Best says, everything species I buy from you are the only thing outbreeding all other things. First your shrimp, now the killies. Yeah, where you get your fish actually plays a big role on your success with your fish. That's one thing I put into my fish, and being like hobbyist grown, hobbyist bred, the genetics have a lot of tender, loving care behind them. Thank you, Johnny, for mentioning to hit that like button. That would be helpful, you guys. More of you guys that hit the like button, the better off this channel will be. So appreciate that like button smash, Fishbird. Saya Llewellyn says, how are the big natural ponds doing? Will we get a video update soon? I need to do that. And somebody asked me a while ago, it was probably a month or two ago. And it's just like one of those things that kind of gets put in the back burner because all the other fish stuff. But I mean, they're doing well. I am not feeding the front like I used to. The water level's been real low. But yeah, I should probably, maybe we'll do a live out there. We'll see how this weekend goes. Maybe we'll sit out there and do a live. Be nice to do a little sunset live out there. Adam Lash says, hey LRB Aquatics, I do have very many corridors. You've done a few videos, but nothing since you went to Florida. Any specific reason? Would love to see you get into them again. So I love Cory cats. They like no filter tanks, but the only problem with no filter tanks is since they like to sift stuff, it just turns into a cloudy tank. So I've just been kind of steering away from Cory cats, just for that simple fact is I know they're gonna cloud up the water. And there's ways you can do it to where they won't cloud up the water, but they're so hard to like really breed numbers out of and mess with, and I've just got too much to mess with. So it's like one of those things that, I just don't have time for. But I do love Cory cats. Absolutely adore them. Especially when you get good schools of them. Lucas, how are the mascara barbs? The mascara barbs I got are doing good. I should probably move them at some point, but that's pretty much everything in the fish room right now. Just needs moved around. Christian B says, the trout goodies I got from you are doing great and growing fast. I ordered more. Awesome. Thanks. How many is too many for a 20 long heavily planted? I mean, I put like 60 in a 20-gallon high. So, I mean, yours is a long. It's not much different, just longer. So, I mean, you can fit quite a few in there, but that's only at like the smaller size. Like, if you see my adults, which it takes them quite a bit of time to get like that big, but they can get pretty huge. So I probably want to do more than 20. There we go. Got that little hair bugging the heck out of me. Terry LaPierre says, Lucas, I had 90 rice fish eggs that I collected off my fish, but none hatched. My TDS was 180, 200, and dying leaves of hornwort affect the hatch. You actually counted all those eggs? A lot of counting. I don't know, dude. I wouldn't think like hornwort can kind of rot out. Did it like become white and fungusy? Like what happened to the eggs? Did they white out? Because they just could have maybe been in for. I don't know if rice fish or eggs are. I thought they were fertilized first before they get put on something. So you would think they would be fertilized. I don't think I've ever seen an unfertilized rice fish egg. I don't know. I don't know. Excuse me. Yeah, they should hatch 180 to 200 TDS isn't the problem. So maybe it was the ammonia or something of the dying leaves. Were the eggs still there, or just they disappeared, or what happened to the eggs? I think that extra information could help maybe find the problem. Sunny G says, Lucas, are you going to possibly produce your own dry food for sale at some point? You know, it hasn't even been a thought, to be honest. It hasn't. I know like so many people are making their own foods and stuff. I was gonna do like the filters and everything, but the company I was talking to, I don't know, they must have other stuff to do. So we never really got the ball rolling like it should on that. But I mean, I got other stuff to do too, so whatever. I don't even really use filters, anyways. There's a reason for it all. But yeah, I wasn't planning on doing dry food or nothing. So many people doing that. Even though it wouldn't be bad, considering I do use a lot of food. But I'd have to get with Tetra or something. Because I've tried so many fish foods out there, and you know, a lot have better ingredients than what I use. But practicality, for as many tanks as I have, it just the Tetracolor tropical granules makes sense for me. Makes it a lot easier. Johnny Best says King Kongs can tolerate neocaridina parameters to an extent. To an extent, they can't like go crazy high, and they do prefer some of that active humic substrate, that like specialized substrate. That beats like that helps to like get numbers out of them, to breed them more. But yeah, you start getting into over 300 up to 400, it doesn't work as well. Hornwort is the best rice fish spawning media so far. Hornwort is a good spawning media. For like a live spawning media. It's just a real pain when it dies. You ever seen hornwort die? It leaves just needles everywhere, and it can get soupy. Aquarium Fantasy says, Lucas, will you do more merch in the future? You know, I need to. I need like a guy for this, a guy for that. You know, unfortunately, I'm only one man. Teesprings used to make it easy, but then Teesprings just became a crap company, and I didn't want to support them. Like I could make money off their merch and stuff, but I don't really think it's worth it. And I don't really have any other option. I don't even know where to begin there. I'm a fish keeper, not a merch pusher. I guess that would make me a better YouTuber if I was, but I guess I'm just stuck being a fish guy. Well, not really. That's a choice. You're only stuck to what you choose. All right, if you got a question, that's where I'm at the bottom of the chat. If not, then I didn't really have a song or dance lined up. What if you get a shirt printer and make your own merch? You know, could do that. Or I could keep messing with my fish room and do everything else. Not a merch maker. You know, I could make money doing that. That's not what I really want to do. I'd rather move fish around and get them breeding. Get you guys some good fish, because I know there's a lot of crappy stock out there. This is why I have the collectoritis of such good stock. House of Pisces says, I rarely change water in my guppy grass. An attempt to slow growth, yes. That's actually a big reason why I stopped doing water changes as much as I did. It was when you've got hundreds of tanks, and if you don't have the time to mess with all the plants that grow out of them, like it could get bananas. But that guppy grass will still grow without the water change. It's just not as fast. Say Llewellyn says, "How is Signal in the barn, fish barn these days? Will we see lives from there again?" You will at some point. It's not great now, but we are getting fiber optic installed. Like they got the hard lines on the power poles. We got our name in, be on the waiting list for them to come out or whatever it is. I don't know what the list is for, but I guess it takes a while for them to come out to like really hook it up. So we're kind of waiting on that. I am working on getting a whole dehumidifier for the fish barn too. So I've got the little dehumidifier, but it just cannot keep up. Like it's almost 80% humidity, 70% humidity in there all the time. And that's not good for a fish room. So if you do have a fish room, make sure you're running a dehumidifier or something. You don't want things to get moldy. But I am hopefully getting like a big one on my AC unit. It's gonna cost me like 30 grand, but it'll be worth it. Aquarium Fantasy says, "Did you get any new fish this week? And or are you planning on getting new fish soon?" So actually, I did get a lot of new fish this week. So by breaking down that fish room, I got some white clouds, some little neon tetras. I have one of the axelottles, a bunch of random guppies. They were kind of split into guppy lines, but it's like guppies I've already got and or not to the caliber of where I would really work those lines. So I just kind of mix them all into their own tank. So I've just really given them more of a new home. I did get more bee shrimp. I got some more tiger shrimp. I already had the tigers. I think, I got some safari shrimp. And I got some Vienna guppies. I've got a bunch of Vienna guppies that I need to get on the website here, probably here in the next week. I just got to take pictures and do all that stuff, make the listing. But yeah, I did actually get a bunch of fish this week. Aquarium Fantasy says, "Lucas, would you live stream on Sunday again?" Yes, we were actually just talking about that. Might do it out at the ponds, maybe on a sunset or something. I think that'd be nice. Yeah, we definitely will. We'll start getting into more of that stuff too. I've just really got to settle things around here. I was hoping to like juggle it all, and then I got sick, and then I got off the momentum, and then I had to play catch up because like being sick for 2 weeks when I was like that really, 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 really threw me off my game. Now I'm just trying to catch up with everything else and get that more cycled into my daily things. Man Cave Exotic says, "Opinions on golden and cherry barbs. Do you have any?" So I used to have the gold barbs and the cherry barbs. I love them both. Absolutely love barbs. They are trickle spawners, so they don't spawn a whole lot, but they will spawn a little bit every day. And really, really hardy fish, soft water, hard water. They don't really care. They do kind of like it, like more. I think they prefer it more towards the harder side, in my opinion. And the Goldens, they get pretty chunky. Cherry barbs, if you're like trying to breed them or something, definitely be picky about the genetics because some people have worked them, some people not so much. And the color differences can be night and day. But I do absolutely love those gold barbs. I mean, I used to have those at the old house. I don't do a whole lot with barbs really anymore besides the mascaras. Johnny Bass says Tangerine Tigers on my order? Question mark. What's your TDS, bro? What's the TDS? I can help you. I would say yay or nay. I know you're slightly working with a little harder water. William Abdallah, or even your KHGH. Although a lot of people say you can't keep them with KH. I do. Why not bury a Cat 6 from the home router? They don't have a home router. We don't have fiber optic in the house either, so it would be both that we got to do. And it kind of sucks because like I've got separate electric for this, separate electric for this, so we end up paying around $700 a month just for electricity for both spots. Just because I don't think they actually freaking read them either. I think they're just like, oh yeah, let's just charge everybody $300 this month. Because it doesn't even make sense half the time. Rosie says, do you like the Magitarium tanks as well as Aquariums? So the only thing I don't like about the Magitariums is the simple fact that they didn't use standard sizes. Fish tanks have standard sizes for a reason. And they just decided to make up their own dimensions, which does not work with many stands and could be problematic for some people when buying a stand and buying an aquarium. And say if I've got to replace my tanks, they're not going to fit the same. So that's my only qualm with those. Besides, I mean, they're nice builds. Just should have kept standard sizes. Untethered free range LRB, right? I wish I could do more of that. Like just haul you guys around everywhere with me doing what I'm doing. At the same time, I don't know. Hard to be that kind of person. Because especially when you have so much to do, because it does take time to set it up. And then it takes more time to go live, go in between. It's like being a dog distracted instead of just working on my work. Terry LaPierre says Rachel O'Leary also got Chopra Daniels recently. Where did you get yours? So where did I get mine? I think I got them at a club meeting. I think that's where I got them. I think that's where I had to get them. It was like the only thing I got to. Excuse me, it's been a while. Aquarium Fantasy says, will you be breeding CPS again in the future? A lot of us want some of your nice CPDs. So, probably not. Probably not. Because I feel like there's a lot of people breeding them, and I feel like there's enough better stock out there. So, I don't know. I don't feel like it's something I really have to put my time towards. Because I remember when I was breeding them, they were not good. Like the stock everywhere was terrible, 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 terrible. They were skinny, they were curvy, they were like they must have just been inbreeding them on the wholesale platform, and so they needed the love and attention at that time. But now I feel like there's enough out there with quality CPDs that I don't have to worry about it so much. But who knows? Maybe I'll set up something one day. But it's not a focus in my book anytime soon. Would be nice to go solar, but you know, by the time you pay for all that solar, and say like a hailstorm or something comes through, or a hurricane or a tornado and screws it all up, you're better off just paying that monthly bill. gamble to go solar. Put it that way. We've thought about it. Well, actually, what we would really like to do is we've got a little stretch on the front of the property to where if we can get the electrical company out here and put their solar panels on it, and then we could feed off it, and then they can pay us monthly, that would be ideal. Yeah, I was kidding about the electric bill just being a guess. I know they do like an average usage, which is still kind of the same thing. Kind of just making it up. I know they trade and barter energy and all that stuff, like the stock market in the background too. Mark Shrimp Tank says Starlink. You know, I've looked into Starlink. A lot of people said they do all right. But I look at their numbers and I'm like, nah, that can't be that good. Because the numbers don't make sense as far as like their upload, download speeds. It just doesn't make sense as far as it being that good. What we would be getting in is like gig internet. That's what we want. That's what we had at the old place, and that's what we want here. Maximum power for that Wi-Fi. We started using marine land tanks. They are very close to Aquarium. They are. They are. Marine land might be built a little better, but you know they're not as common as the Aquariums. More of a pet smart tank. Johnny Best says TDS is 243. So, you know, they would. They would do all right. I don't think they would like be prolific breeders unless you get like that special substrate. You get that special substrate, that humic substrate, like the Brightwell stuff, the stuff that looks like little round balls, the ADA or something like that. They do make specialized shrimp soils too. You get the humic value on that with that 243, you would get a lot more better breeding out of them. They'll definitely live in that, but they just won't breed that much. But if you get that substrate, they will. Yeah, a lot of you guys have Starlink. Yeah, my CPDs were good at the time, but at the same time, I don't really have many of them right now because I just don't. Actually, the ones I have are in tanks that I wish they weren't, and they're such a pain in the butt to catch because they're so small and fast, and there's just way too many plants in there. I gotta catch those at some point though, because they're in with like my Melanitania goldii decai, and if those CPDs weren't in there, I would have babies of those Melanitania goldii decai everywhere. There's like a group of 4 or so in there, and it's just make my eye twitch about all the stuff I have to do. Na, 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 na. Shelby K, Sweetie 314 says, do you have that internet option out there? I know more rural places don't have better internet options. So we've actually been waiting, like, this is our 3rd year being here. We've been waiting for that option to come up. And they were talking about it for the longest time. And it finally started coming up, and it's starting to progress, and should have it here soon. Yeah, all the other options aren't good. We actually run it off hotspots off Verizon. So, like right now, I'm just running it off my phone. Now, Spicy says, I got a quote for solar. Salesman said, I use the same amount of energy as a family of 4 with a hot tub, just me and my aquarium. Funny. Yeah, dude. I don't know. It's so weird to think about it because we're like, oh, we only need to, like, people should conserve energy here and there and here and there. But then you've got businesses, public spaces, the military alone that uses like massive amounts of energy. And we have so many ways to create it. Heck, product could be pulled from the air. And it's just, to me, how people scale that. But yeah, like, you guys know, I'm using mine. Honey G says, Lucas, have you ever had to hold one of those? And that's what's crazy too. Hold on. That's what's crazy too, because you guys know the barn. Barn's got tons of fish tanks. Granted, you don't have filters and stuff, but it's got an AC unit, huge AC unit, a lot bigger than this house. And it's not, that barn's not even sealed all the way. But it does pretty good with holding the temperature just due to the tanks. But the amount of lights in that barn alone, there's at least, I don't know, like 50 or plus, I don't know, 50 to 100 lights. And you would think that that would be more than this house, but it's not. But that could be because of the electric stove. Lady LRB, she likes to use it, so maybe that's the difference. But the fact that they're just, the bills are not far off between the two. Usually like $30 away. Honey G says, Lucas, have you ever had to hold one of those bear in a barrel farts? And until the live stream is. No, actually I haven't. I haven't. Probably gonna happen to me now though. No, I've never had to do that though. That's a funny question. I'm not that shy about it. I just might let it go. Aquarium Fantasy says, Lucas, how many CPDs do you have left? I would love to buy them. I think, shoot, it would probably be 10 or less. I don't want to catch them. Oh, I don't want to catch them yet. They're like literally such a pain where they're at. Like, I need a fish trap for them or something. Matter of fact, if I was going to design something, that's probably what I should really work on. Little miniature fish traps. I will see what I can do because it's something I need to get done. I'll probably have to night fish them, and then we'll talk. If I can get them into a tank. Did you decide to keep your Tangenicans? So yeah, I do still have my Tangenicans. It's hard for me to let go of them. But yeah, I do still have them. I kind of need new homes because actually I got more than what needs to be in their space. Aquarium Fantasy, you already know, bro. Chef Steve says, how many male to female crebensis in a 55? Well, if they're starting off their own colony, they'll kind of regulate that themselves. But I would say it's always best to go one male, two females. That way it can take the pressure off the other female from having to do the work, you know? Or just one to one. Schwalai says, hey Lucas, love the channel. I want to start selling fish to fund my hobby, but always lose focus and try breeding too many things. Any tips to stay focused and make it work? Hey buddy, welcome to my world. That is literally what I do. But if you really want to stay focused, you got to focus on just a few types, become a specialist in those few types, And it can be tough because collectoritis is a thing, because then you're like, ooh, I want to do this. Ooh, I want to do this. And I want to do this, which is good. And it's a good way to figure out what you really want to down the road. It's a journey, it's an experience. Consider it like grinding out XP on a video game, to where you're just kind of learning what works for you. And yeah, like House Pisces says, get more tanks. But yeah, the focus really comes from inwards, and you have to choose that focus. And it's got to be what you really want, is really the key. Because if you really want it, it's what you'll do. If it's not what you really want, it's not what you're gonna do. It's just not how the cards are gonna play. So yeah, that's the best way to do that. You're welcome. Hope it helps, or at least makes you feel better about it. And it's good to do that. Like, there's a lot of ways to support yourself in this hobby with the hobby, and there's not a lot of hobbies like that, which is cool about this hobby. It's how I've built everything here, literally, by the hobby. Bottom of the chat, so that's where I'm at. If you got a question, I'm moving this chair just right. It kind of sounds like I'm got one of those ones I was talking about. All right, no questions, none, crickets. Well, I guess we're 46 minutes in. Yeah, I get caught up in like, do I want to do my decas, betas, and Neocaridina shrimp? So I would say dabble a little bit with all of them. And then that's where you'll decide, like, okay, I don't want to do this, but yes, I want to do this. Because that's what will answer your question. But you got to start off one and work through the others. This stream says, Lucas, how do you keep from getting Cheeto fingers and calluses from feeding Tetracolor tropical granules? So I was actually just talking about this earlier on this live stream. It's funny you bring that out, because it has been a pain for me, like the last couple weeks, to feed. Usually it's not an issue, but I don't know if they've just been making the tropical granules tougher, and it was really like tattooing the orange into my finger. Like, they don't look too bad now. I mean, there's slight color difference from where I feed, but it's not as bad as it was or could be. But like this finger, you can look how much swollen up that is. Callus from fish feeding. And I lately have been, actually, first time today, I got some masking tape, rolled it twice, and then started using it like that. And that helped protect my finger, helped keep all that orange from getting in there and stabbing into my finger. But yeah, when you got to feed enough tanks, it can be an issue. Opinions on zinc coated water troughs. Personally, never used them. Yeah, I can't really tell you much. Never used them. I imagine they grow algae like crazy, especially if in the sun. Philip Murphy says favorite type of rainbow fish. I couldn't tell you, from Glossolepis to Melanotania. That's impossible. Impossible. Big favorites. Chualai says, are you picky about the types of food you feed all your fish? For me, it's about practicality, and that's why I use the Tetracolor tropical granules, because it's orange. I can see it if I overfeed it. I know all my fish are going to eat it. And if I keep it simple with the food, it's easier for for me to keep a lot more tanks. If I'm trying to be picky with picky fish and stuff like that and food and make that a whole ordeal, no, it's not functional for me. Yes, I had to switch to the flake, huh? I am not a big fan of the flake, but I see where you're coming from, fish streams. I understand you. Chef Steve says, is there a test kit to test chlorine? And have you tested your water for it? So I have well water. We definitely do not have chlorine. They do have test strips for chlorine though that you can get. And then I would say it would be good to test it because you could be dechlorin for no reason. Is that all you feed them? The Tetracolor? Yeah, that's all I feed them. And then they got the ecosystem to eat off of too. They're hungry enough. But for my fish, those Tetracolor tropical granules, they act like they're fresh cheeseburgers hot off the press every freaking time I come around and give them to them. So I keep using them because I like it. Have you come across any brown batches of TCTG? I have a can a while back. So there was some that the color had changed a little bit. I don't know, for me, sketches me out. So I just wouldn't use it. It probably just didn't get that anasanthic, whatever makes it orange in it so much. So it probably isn't even that bad, but I don't know. I'm not going to risk something like that. I'm not going to just chuck some. Well, it might be good in the tanks and then it not be good and cause me a whole nightmare. Oh, forget about it. So better safe than sorry. That's always my motto when it comes to things like that. John Cardy, Scottish Tanks. Oh, the last tank I kept for myself to stay in the hobby got broke, and the high winds went from 6 sold 5. Now no tank. What are you gonna do, dude? Can't let the wind break you down like that. I'll have to get another tank. Never enough. You know you want another tank. Christian B says, do you have an opinion on fluval bug bites? So I've used them. My fish don't really go for them like the Tetracolor tropical granules. So, I mean, I bought a big bucket. I actually just started feeding it to the fish in my other ponds, like my ponds to like the bluegills and stuff. But, yeah, no, it didn't work as good as the Tetracolor tropical granules as far as what I was looking for. But as far as ingredients, it's much healthier ingredient list than what I use. But it's a lot more easier for me to overfeed that stuff, and if I don't see it and it funguses up, it causes some major problems. Yeah, I mean, shrimp. Yeah, sounds like you're getting a new tank, Scottish Tanks. Congrats, bro. In advance. And I am at the bottom of the chat. Got a question? That's where I'm at. We got 6-ish minutes left. I guess I'll just start making my ice cream now. I'm not even going to eat ice cream. Actually going to go play War Robots. War Robots. It's fun. We got a clan. We get it on the comms. It's my nightly kind of release. All right, no questions left. I think I've talked about everything I could at least think about right now. So, I mean, I appreciate you guys joining, hopping on the live. It was a little slower on the horizontal than the vertical last time, so I don't know. We might have to go back to the vertical. I hate having to choose from vertical and horizontal. One thing that really kind of messed me up with YouTube is once they started switching to vertical and horizontal, it became such a pain as a creator because you can't film everything at both. You have to do it one or the other. And then if you want it from that, you got to crop it, which, it doesn't even look right when you do. So that, man, it really messed me up because if I just do horizontal through the books, it'd be so much easier. But I also got to do the other social medias too because not everybody is on YouTube anymore, and there's a lot more baskets for eggs, and I have to most of those use vertical. That sounds delicious, Sunny G. Good old tetracolored tropical granule popsicle. How many likes and subscribers for that? That'll get my likes. That's internet thing right there. To eat one of those. If I make a tetra tropical granule popsicle. How many super chats can I get for that? Then I'll get my outdoor thing going. 1,000? Let's go. 1,000's better than 34. Although I appreciate all the 36 now. Thank you. Thank you for hitting that like button before we go. Because that definitely helps. And you know what? Believe it or not, most of my videos have like 100%. It doesn't matter how well people like your videos. Most of my videos are all 99 to 100% like ratio. Means absolutely nothing to the algorithm. Means nothing. It's really it's the amount of people who engage, and that's my biggest problem is I don't really badger you guys enough to engage. So womp womp, my bad. Hit the like button though, please, because it does matter and it does help, and I appreciate it. Ratio is important to the art. Well, thank you guys. Appreciate it. But yeah, without you guys, I want to be here. I want to be doing this. So I gotta thank you, thank you, thank you. All right, I'm gonna hop off here. I hope you guys all have a great weekend and stay safe, have fun, and enjoy your tanks. Till next time, everybody. Peace. Have a great one. Where's Wesley? He's sleeping. He usually joins me for that. Womp womp.